60 miles inland on Antarctica's ice shelf, in the middle of total darkness, thousands of birds stand motionless. Around them, the temperature has dropped below -40, and the wind screams across the ice at more than 60 miles per hour. Each bird is holding a single egg, balanced carefully on its feet, an egg that would freeze and die in minutes if it ever touched the ice. There is no food, no shelter, and for the next 4 months, they will not eat a single bite. And yet, here they are. Why would any animal choose the coldest, darkest moment on Earth to create new life? What drives them to face this impossible winter? In the next few minutes, we'll begin to uncover their remarkable story. In this video, we're going to explore one of the most extraordinary survival strategies in the animal kingdom: why emperor penguins choose to breed during the deadliest months of the Antarctic winter. At first, it seems impossible. The conditions are harsh, the nights endless, and the winds relentless. Yet, for these birds, winter is not a time to hide. It is the only time life can begin. This behavior may look illogical from the outside, but it follows a precise set of environmental rules that have been shaped over thousands of years. Every step, every decision, every movement is carefully timed to the rhythms of ice, ocean, and sunlight. The winter huddle, that vast shifting mass of thousands of penguins clinging together for warmth, is just one part of a much larger cycle. It connects the frozen interior of the continent with the open ocean, the returning sun, and the delicate timing that ensures survival in one of the harshest ecosystems on Earth. Over the next few minutes, we'll see how this remarkable cycle unfolds. We'll follow the penguins from the darkest, coldest months through the challenges they face to keep their eggs alive, and discover the hidden logic behind what seems like sheer madness. The emperor penguin, known to scientists as Aptenidites forsteri, is the largest of all penguin species on Earth. Standing nearly 4 feet tall, these birds are heavier and more powerful than any other member of their family, perfectly built for life in the harshest environment on the planet. And yet, unlike most birds, they cannot fly through the air. Instead, they have become masters of a different kind of flight: underwater. With streamlined bodies and strong, flipper-like wings, emperor penguins can dive deeper and swim faster than almost any other bird, hunting for the tiny fish and krill that sustain them. But survival in the Southern Ocean requires more than speed or strength. The emperor penguin is a creature designed entirely around cold. Their feathers are dense and water-resistant, overlapping like tiny shields to trap warmth. Beneath those feathers lies a thick layer of fat, insulating the body against temperatures that can plummet below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, while strong circulatory adaptations keep vital organs alive even in gale-force winds. Every aspect of their anatomy have been shaped over thousands of years to withstand conditions that would be instantly fatal to most other birds. It is this unique combination of size, strength, and physiology that allows the emperor penguin to survive and even thrive where almost nothing else can. And yet, even with these remarkable adaptations, life here is far from safe. Every journey inland, every moment spent on the ice presents dangers that push these birds to the very limits of endurance. How exactly they navigate this frozen world and why they risk everything in the dead of winter will become clearer as we move further into the Antarctic interior. What you'll see next is a world where timing, ice, and survival collide in ways almost unimaginable, and where the choices of a single species reveal the delicate balance of one of Earth's most extreme ecosystems. Far from the more familiar edges of Antarctica, where ships can sometimes approach and research stations dot the coast, lies the vast interior of the continent. Here, the ice stretches endlessly, 50 to 75 miles or more from the ocean, forming massive shelves that hover above the frozen sea. This is the heart of the Antarctic ice sheet, a place so remote that for months at a time, no human sets foot here. It is the coldest land on Earth, where winter temperatures regularly average minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and when the wind blows, the wind chill can plunge toward minus 100. For anyone caught exposed, even for a few minutes, the cold is enough to freeze skin and threaten life instantly. And yet, this is exactly where emperor penguins choose to gather, year after year, to begin the most dangerous chapter of their lives. The darkness here is profound. For weeks, even months, the sun never rises above the horizon. It is a world painted in shadows and ice, broken only by the occasional glint of snow in the dim twilight. Sound travels oddly across the frozen plains, carried by gusting winds that race across the ice at hurricane force. Nothing is permanent. The sea ice forms, shifts, breaks apart, and reforms with the changing tides and currents. Icebergs calve from glaciers and slowly drift northward until warmer waters dissolve them entirely. The very ground on which the penguins stand is moving, grinding, and reshaping beneath them with every season. Every year, the platform they rely on for breeding may look familiar, yet it has subtly changed. Some areas vanish entirely, while new stretches of ice emerge where none existed before. It is a place defined by instability, yet life has found a way. The emperor penguins depend entirely on these shifting, fragile shelves. They must navigate a terrain that is as dangerous as it is essential. Every step they take carries risk. A misstep on thin ice, a crack opening unexpectedly, or a sudden storm can be fatal. And yet, their instincts guide them to the exact spots that will remain solid long enough to see a new generation of chicks survive. In this frozen expanse, every patch of ice is precious. Every ridge and crevice can mean the difference between life and death. But there is more to this interior than just cold and danger. Beneath the surface, the ice itself tells a story of ancient cycles, of slow compression and relentless movement, shaping not only the landscape but the very rhythm of survival here. The emperor penguins have learned to read this rhythm, moving and timing their breeding with a precision that seems almost impossible in a world where nothing stays the same. Yet, even with these instincts, the interior is not forgiving. The storms grow stronger in the heart of winter. Temperatures drop to unimaginable lows, and months of darkness obscure every landmark. And still, these birds march onward, guided by patterns that humans are only beginning to understand. As we peer across this vast frozen desert, it becomes clear that the Antarctic interior is not merely a backdrop. It is a force that shapes every choice, every movement, every survival strategy of the emperor penguins. And the question remains, how do they manage to endure in a place where nothing holds still, where the ground beneath them can vanish without warning, and where the cold seems to challenge life at every turn? In the next section, we will begin to uncover the timing that makes this seemingly impossible journey not just possible, but essential. As the frozen interior of Antarctica stretches endlessly under the weight of winter, a remarkable cycle quietly begins each year. Emperor penguins, those towering birds of the ice, begin their breeding journey in late autumn, around April and May, as the sun sinks low and the days shorten into darkness. For most creatures, this is a time to seek shelter, to hunker down and wait for more forgiving months. But the emperors do the opposite. They march inland toward the ice shelves, carrying with them the hope of a single egg, the start of a new life, into a world that seems impossibly hostile. By May, the Antarctic winter is in full force. Temperatures regularly drop below minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind blows in relentless gusts, carrying a chill that would freeze exposed skin in minutes. This is when the eggs are incubated, perched carefully on the feet of the males, hidden beneath folds of skin for protection. For nearly 4 months, these birds will fast, endure storms, and rotate within huddles to shield themselves and their fragile offspring. The dark seems absolute, the cold unbearable, and yet the rhythm of survival continues, as though the ice and the penguins are locked in a silent agreement, each shaping the other. As winter fades and the sun begins its slow climb back over the horizon, the first hints of daylight signal the arrival of spring. The chicks hatch just as light returns, a delicate balance of timing that ensures the young penguins emerge into a world where the ice has not yet melted, but the ocean is beginning to awaken with life. The contrast with other species is striking. Most animals avoid winter, retreating to warmer waters or hibernating until the danger passes. For the emperor penguin, however, winter is not an obstacle, it is a necessity. Survival, reproduction, and the continuation of the species depend on it. And yet, the question lingers, almost impossibly. Why choose the deadliest season on Earth to bring new life into the world? How does a species know to risk everything in the coldest, darkest months, when every misstep could mean disaster? The answer lies in a combination of instinct, environmental timing, and the unforgiving rhythm of the Antarctic ice itself. But understanding that answer requires looking even closer at the world these penguins inhabit, the shifting ice and treacherous winds that both challenge and protect them. In the next section, we will explore the precise logic behind their timing and why winter, against all odds, is the only season that makes survival possible. As the dark Antarctic winter sets in, the sea ice reaches its greatest extent, stretching far from the continent into the open ocean. This frozen platform is not just a sheet of ice, it is the foundation of life for emperor penguins. It must be broad and stable enough to support tens of thousands of birds, all huddled together for warmth and safety. Each year, the penguins rely on this fragile stage to raise their chicks, a platform that must remain intact long enough for the next generation to survive. If the birds were to wait for summer, when the sun finally returns and temperatures rise, the ice would already be breaking apart. Chicks, still tiny and vulnerable, would be thrown into open water too soon, exposed to predators and the unforgiving ocean currents. Winter, with its relentless cold and darkness, creates a paradoxical shelter. The danger of freezing temperatures is intense, but it is predictable, and it keeps the birds safe from seals, orcas, and other predators that patrol the edges of the ice during warmer months. The logic is brutal, but precise. To survive and reproduce, the emperor penguins choose a time that seems impossible to us, a season when life appears nearly unlivable. Yet in that extreme environment, the ice itself becomes a shield, a temporary fortress where survival is possible. Every decision, every step inland, every moment spent balancing a single egg is guided by this delicate balance between danger and opportunity. And still, even with the ice beneath them and the huddles around them, the challenges are far from over. How do they endure the coldest months on Earth without faltering? How do they survive when even a small mistake could be fatal? The answer lies in one of nature's most extraordinary adaptations, a strategy that transforms desperation into cooperation and sheer survival into something almost impossible to witness. In the next section, we will uncover the remarkable system that allows these birds to endure when everything around them seems designed to destroy them. Surviving the Antarctic ice is only half the battle. Once the penguins have made it inland, facing freezing temperatures and months without food, another challenge awaits. How do thousands of starving birds withstand hurricane-force winds, temperatures that could freeze skin in minutes, and still keep their fragile eggs from turning to ice? The answer lies in a survival strategy unlike any other, a delicate, moving system that allows life to endure where almost nothing else can. In the heart of the Antarctic winter, as darkness stretches for weeks on end and winds roar across the ice at over 60 miles per hour, emperor penguins face their greatest test. Here, in the open expanse of frozen plains, they gather in tens of thousands, not scattered or solitary, but packed together into an astonishing living formation, the huddle. From the outside, it appears as a single heaving mass of black and white moving slowly across the ice. But up close, it is an intricate system, perfectly choreographed without a single leader, without fixed positions, yet somehow functioning as a single breathing organism. Within this shifting structure, the temperature rises dramatically, while the wind outside can make even the hardiest human feel as though the air itself could freeze flesh instantly. Inside the huddle, temperatures can climb to nearly 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Each penguin plays a vital role. They slowly rotate from the edges toward the warmer center and back again, a careful and deliberate movement that ensures no bird spends too long exposed to the lethal cold. Every shift, every inch of motion is a balance between risk and survival, a silent cooperation that has been refined over millennia. At the center of this strategy lies the most delicate task of all, protecting the egg. Each male balances a single egg on his feet, tucked beneath a fold of skin, shielding it from the freezing ice below. One slip, one careless tilt, and the egg is lost, frozen solid in an instant. Survival is not just a matter of endurance, it is a matter of precision. The huddle works because every penguin participates, every movement is synchronized with the others, and every individual understands the stakes. There are no exceptions, no shortcuts. The failure of one could ripple outward, threatening the life of countless others. Yet, even with this remarkable strategy, danger is never far away. Storms intensify, darkness deepens, and the cold remains unrelenting. How do these birds, starving and exhausted, maintain such perfect coordination for weeks on end? How do they continue to balance life on the knife's edge when a single misstep can mean disaster? The answer is hidden in the extraordinary rhythm of the huddle itself, a system of survival that is as elegant as it is unforgiving. And in the next section, we will see what happens when months of endurance meet the first fragile rays of Antarctic light, and the chicks finally begin to emerge into the world. Scientists have spent decades uncovering the secrets of the emperor penguin's extraordinary winter survival, often in conditions that seem as extreme as the penguin's own environment. To track entire colonies scattered across the ice, researchers use satellites, following the birds from space to see how they move, where they gather, and how they navigate the frozen interior. On the ground, time-lapse cameras operate in complete darkness, recording the slow rotations of huddles and the moments when eggs begin to hatch, capturing details that human eyes could never witness in real time. Long-term population studies track individual birds over years, revealing patterns in breeding success, survival rates, and the precise timing that ensures chicks emerge when conditions are optimal. Institutions such as the British Antarctic Survey and National Geographic-supported research teams have played a critical role in piecing together these insights. Through their work, we now know exactly how long the males can fast, sometimes more than 100 days, how much weight they lose, often up to half of their body mass, and how every step, every huddle rotation, is linked to the stability of the surrounding ice. Science has revealed that the penguin's remarkable endurance is not guesswork or instinct alone. It is a finely tuned system, synchronized with the rhythms of ice, wind, and light. And yet, even with all this data, mysteries remain. How do these birds sense the subtle changes in ice thickness before disaster strikes? How do they maintain such precise timing year after year in a place where nothing stays the same? As we move to the next part of the story, we will see how all of this preparation and endurance culminates in one of the most critical and dangerous moments of the penguins' lives, and how survival hangs on a knife's edge. In recent years, the delicate balance that emperor penguins depend on has begun to shift. Rising temperatures and changing weather patterns mean that sea ice forms later in the year and breaks apart earlier than it used to. The very platform these birds have relied on for thousands of years is becoming unpredictable. When the ice forms too late, the journey inland becomes longer and more dangerous. When it melts too early, chicks can hatch into open water before they are ready, leaving them vulnerable to the cold and predators alike. The consequences are profound. Entire colonies may fail if the ice breaks apart before the chicks have matured, wiping out months of effort and survival. And yet, the penguins themselves are not failing. They follow the same instincts, the same rhythms that have guided generations. The challenge is that the environment itself is now changing faster than evolution can keep pace. The timing that once guaranteed survival is under threat, and the very strategy that has allowed life to thrive in one of the harshest places on Earth is being tested like never before. As we look closer at this shifting world, the question arises, how will the emperor penguins respond when the ice they depend on no longer behaves as it always has? The answer lies in the next phase of their story, where endurance, adaptation, and the unforgiving power of nature collide in ways that are both extraordinary and uncertain. Emperor penguins make a choice that seems impossible to us. They breed in the deadliest months of the Antarctic winter. Yet this is not recklessness, it is a precise strategy. Winter, with all its cold and darkness, offers stability that summer never could. Every step of their journey, every moment of fasting, every rotation in the huddle is timed perfectly to the cycles of ice, light, and the ocean, ensuring that life continues in a place where survival is never guaranteed. These birds live at the very edge of what Earth allows. Their entire existence depends on the fragile balance between danger and opportunity. But that edge is shifting. The ice they depend on forms later, melts sooner, and the rhythms they have evolved to follow are under threat. How they adapt, or if they can, will determine the future of one of the most extraordinary survival stories on the planet. To witness more incredible adaptations and understand how life thrives in the harshest corners of our world, continue exploring with us. Subscribe for future episodes on polar ecosystems, survival strategies, and the remarkable creatures that push the limits of endurance. The story of life on the edge is far from over.